New York Jets trade rumors are heating up as the Bleacher Report NFL Scouting Department believes the Jets should be trading Mike Williams to the Kansas City Chiefs as the Chiefs need more help from their wide receivers, and the New York Jets clearly will be trading Mike Williams at the trade deadline, and we have to break this down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into the video as always. Y'all also know what's coming. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton. But we're not really going to dance around that very much because we got something to talk about, which is the fact that the Bleacher Report NFL Scouting Department believes that another week means another suggestion for the Kansas City Chiefs to add to their wide receiver core. Mahomes and Andy Reid can do a lot to mask the deficiencies the team has had at the position since Rashee Rice suffered a season-ending knee injury. Williams was signed by the New York Jets in the offseason, but the pairing has not really worked out with the Jets trading for Davante Adams. It would make sense that they're going to part ways with Mike Williams, something we already know is going to happen, and he's a big-bodied vertical threat who could help the resurgence with Mahomes throwing him the ball. I mean, there feels like there's a lot going on with Mike Williams, whether it's who's throwing him the ball or not, running the wrong routes, all that stuff, basically losing any semblance of a job now that Davante Adams is on the New York Jets, and the Jets still suck anyway, so they're going to move Mike Williams for something of value, like a 6th-round draft pick or something, which is just such a great investment into their future. But obviously, it makes sense why Mike Williams would want to leave the Jets, and it makes sense why the Jets are going to comply to that. Matt, I mean, obviously this season sucks. Everything about it sucks, and the problem is it feels like there's just no turning this thing around at this point, and trading Mike Williams, I mean, even if you're going to get a 6th-round pick at this point, sure, why not, honestly?
Yeah, so Mike Williams was demoted to the wide receiver 4 spot after the Davante Adams trade behind Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, and Allen Lazard. But trading away Mike Williams isn't necessarily a white flag on the season, which is why I think it makes a lot of sense to trade him because the Jets have spent a lot of draft capital over the next 2 years, making sure this year, or not making sure clearly, but hoping that this year could be something different for the franchise. But now this is a chance to recoup at least a little bit of those assets because Mike Williams is on a 1-year deal. He's the wide receiver 4. He's definitely much better than Xavier Gibson, who would be our wide receiver 5. But if you can get a draft pick for him, you got to go get that draft pick for him. Whether it's Kansas City, I know people don't like trading him to the Kansas City Chiefs because they're the 2-time defending champions. They're the best team in the league, and people don't want to see them get better. But if we get a 5th or 6th-round pick out of Mike Williams, that's definitely a win in the maybe not for the short term, but by this time next month, people might be thinking, man, I'm glad we traded away Mike Williams because, yeah, he's better than what he's playing right now. Maybe he ran the wrong route. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is a bad throw, but the last 3 games, he hasn't been involved at all in the offense. So how much is the team really going to take a hit if they get that 6th-round pick, that 5th-round pick, instead of having Mike Williams in there? So the Jets, they have enough of a receiving core with Davante, with Garrett, with Allen Lazard, and hopefully Xavier Gibson, maybe Malachi Corley shows up. I don't know why. I don't know how bad he could possibly be that he's still a healthy scratch now going to week 8. I
It's also like,
Xavier,
why?
Xavier Gibson fumbled 2 snaps or 2 punt returns, and Malachi Corley isn't like one of the main things he does returning punts and returning kicks because his talent is being the yak guy. So, I mean, Robert Saleh, before he was fired, he said that Malachi Corley had a long way to go in terms of route running, which was to be expected when you watched his film out of Western Kentucky. But, I mean, it is week 8. We drafted this guy in the 3rd round. How he's got to be really, really, really bad for him still not even to be getting any looks on Sundays.
I honestly feel like with Malachi Corley also, the only thing to do is just you really just have to take like a chance on him at this point because you took the 3rd-round pick on him. I mean, I get that they're seeing him practice and clearly they don't love what they're seeing, but regardless, like, he's a very different wide receiver from anything else the Jets use. Like, I get Garrett Wilson is great with Yak also, and Davante Adams is just great at football and all that, but it's like, Corley's such a speed threat, why not add him and just see what happens? Like, you know what happens when Mike Williams is there. You know what happens when Xavier Gibson is there. Like, I don't understand the lack of urgency with just trying to do something that might be different. I mean, it felt like getting Devontae Adams would be a step in the right direction for just a change, a jolt of energy, and also getting Hassan Reddick back, and we're yet to see that one happen. Maybe that'll help more than we see coming. But then the Jets gave up 37 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I don't know. I really don't know anymore, Matt. I just don't know. I just watch this team lose every single week of my life now, and nothing changes.
Woody said he was looking for a spark from the team, and that's why I fired Robert Saleh. Obviously, terrible process, just terrible thinking there.
Stupidest
reasoning. We talk about how successful teams don't fire their coaches in the middle of the season. So if the Jets want to be a successful team, you got to act like a successful team and not fire your head coach in the middle of the season. But if they're looking for a spark, why not bring in Malachi Corley? Maybe you throw a screen pass to him and maybe he makes a play out of it.
Yeah.
Like that is a way to get a spark out of your team. Not firing the I feel bad calling Saleh. I feel like I'm wrong calling him the leader of the team because it didn't feel like he was a leader, which is a problem because the coach needs to be the leader of the team. He needs to show the guys in the locker room that the name on the front of the jersey means more than the name on the back of the jersey, even if the name on the back of the jersey is Rodgers. So just the team lack of leadership. Oh, man.
And Matt froze, guys. This honestly just describes the Jets season. Just a frozen Matt.
You got me now?
Yeah, you're good now. You just froze for a second. It just described the Jets season. Yep.
No, I was saying I was so excited for Malachi Corley before he was drafted by the Jets. And I don't know if you remember this, but I texted you when they traded up. I said they're either going to draft Roman Wilson or Malachi Corley. I hope it's Malachi Corley. And they got him. And we haven't seen what he can do yet. In the preseason, he got a couple passes. He had one showcase his really good concentration on one play where the ball was tipped up a bunch of times, and he still caught it for either a first down or close to a first down. And I think he's a guy who has, like I say, I think he's got a ton of potential, but the coaches see him every day at practice. We don't. So we have to defer to their judgment when they decide to healthy scratch him. But at some point, can we just get him in one game instead of Xavier Gipson, please?
Right? Especially if it's just returning kicks. Malachi Corley might be better at that. The whole thing is he's incredibly fast. Try something different.
He's got to be better at returning kicks than Isaiah Davis. Isaiah Davis, he tripped over the white line against the Steelers. Isaiah Davis was also a guy that I liked coming out of South Dakota State. I liked him before the Jets drafted him, just like Malachi, but I just think he's more of a between the tackles runner, not a speed guy. I'm not really sure why he's returning kicks for the Jets. I just really think that's supposed to be Malachi's job. And for some reason, Malachi hasn't taken up and seized that opportunity. But you have to imagine at 2-5, the Jets have to be looking for any way to spark the team. Maybe they fire Jeff Ulbrich, but they're gonna try to spark the team. Hopefully, it's by bringing in Malachi. Mike Williams, he is most likely gone. I know fans don't want to see him gone because a 6th-round pick isn't that exciting, but this guy is not coming back next year. He is not a big part at all of the offense, and what he does for the Jets is replaceable. It's replaceable. We talked about before, he would line up outside and be able to beat guys one-on-one and especially go for jump balls. We have Devontae Adams who can do all that stuff now. Maybe he's not as good at jump balls as Mike Williams was, but he's so far ahead of Mike Williams in every other aspect that just kind of it's fading away. The Jets don't need Mike Williams. I like him. I'm a fan of him. It was funny when, someone bought him that sandwich and then he signed with us over the offseason. It was exciting. He is feeling the aftershocks. What I'm going to describe is his time coming back from his ACL injury. So he hasn't been what we were hoping he was going to be. We thought he was going to ramp up a little bit more. But let's go get a 5th to 6th-round pick, and we'll see what we can do with that.
Honestly, the Mike Williams signing is just the epitome of this Jets season put up into one player. And, guys, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm just going to go run away and hide. So as my green screen kind of disappears, I'm just going to hide under my desk. Guys, have a great day. The green screen's screwing up. Go. You know what my room looks like. Go, Jets.